everybody, it's Workaholic Menopause Barbie, and today I'm going to talk about work. Specifically, I'll talk about menopause in the workplace. This is tutorial number 69, and once again, you don't need the book or the outline notes for today's lesson. We've been discussing the social aspects of menopause, and in the last few videos, we've discussed the male perspective of menopause, menopause and divorce, how to tell your kids about menopause, and menopausal identity crisis. And how your menopause affects your situation and function at work is also a social issue, as well as a financial one. The effect menopause has on work is a huge issue for a lot of women. So let's start by painting a few scenarios. Okay, here's scenario number one. Let's say you're an attorney, a really good one. You're an excellent litigator and you have a 99% success rate. You've been with the same firm for 20 years and you've worked your way up the ladder. You'll be a candidate for partner this year and you feel very sure of getting it. All the other partners are men. In fact, 80% of the attorneys in the entire firm are men. But working around men has never bothered you. And hey, despite the fact that you're a woman, you've performed so well that you're being considered for partner. As with most male-dominated professions, you realize that you really have had to be much better than your male counterparts to receive the very same recognition. No problem. You're a real workaholic and you've always said, anything they can do, I can do better. You know, it's like that song in the musical Annie, Get Your Gun. Anything you can do, I can do better. But for the first time in your life, you don't feel convinced that you really can do better. Yeah, you're starting to doubt that. In fact, you're not even sure you can do half as well as the guys anymore. You see, you've had sleepless nights, night after night, and you just can't remember anything. It's as if your brain is in a fog and you can't think clearly. Yesterday, you had a drenching hot flash in court as you were addressing the jury about a critical moment. And it looked to them like you were sweating because you were lying. And you had to request a recess because you couldn't hold your urine a second longer. The judge asked you why you needed a recess and you just ran out of the courtroom to avoid urinating on the floor. It was a real spectacle, and everyone in the courtroom was talking about it. And afterward, the judge even reprimanded you. You lost that case, the first in years. And you even lost your temper with the senior partner last week. He looked at you like you were crazy when you yelled at him. So many losses. Your memory, your temper, your urine, your case. You've always been very well put together with tailor-made suits that fit you perfectly, but you've gained weight so quickly that none of your suits fit anymore, and now you look kind of sloppy. The worst part is that you don't really care enough to go have new suits made. You don't even want to go shopping. You just don't feel attractive anymore. You feel like you're in the dumps. And you can hardly drag yourself out of bed in the morning. You even called in sick last week, even though you weren't really sick. You're worried that you won't get partner because of this recent turn of events. It's all come about in the last 3 months. Like most women, you've never paid any attention to menopause. You've been too busy. And you just don't want to deal with it. But your girlfriend told you about Menopause Taylor. And sure enough, after watching just one video, you know it's menopause. So you even consider talking to the senior partner about it. Surely he wonders what's going on with you, and surely he's heard of menopause before. I mean, if he understands that this is new for you and that you're learning how to manage it, certainly he'll be more accommodating. But as quickly as you entertain these thoughts, you stop yourself. What are you thinking? You work in a good old boys club. If you tell him it's menopause, it will be akin to telling him it's the plague. He'll probably turn green and stay as far away from you as possible. Who are you kidding? You can't expect to get any support from anyone at work. You'll have to deal with this alone and keep it a secret. Or else you can kiss your partnership goodbye. Okay, so here's scenario number 2. You're an actress on a network soap opera. You know you got the part because of your good, youthful looks. And you've played the same sexy seductress that is the envy of all the other women for years. A central characteristic that fuels the ire of the other characters is that you never seem to age. Little do they know that you're older than they think you are. You lied about your age years ago when you had to be under 20 to play the part of a 15-year-old. And because you still work with some of the same people, they think you're 7 years younger than you really are. That's never been a problem until now. You're actually 47, but they think you're only 40. And you've started battling menopause. First thing that happened is that you broke out with terrible acne. That was a real problem. They had to reschedule an entire shoot because of it, and now you have huge bags under your eyes from not getting any sleep. The director asked you if you were sick, and you got so flustered that you had an embarrassing hot flash and then forgot your lines. The makeup artist commented on the fact that your hair is getting too thin to pull off the big hairstyle that your character requires. And she somehow missed a great, big, thick, wiry whisker on your chin that looked so obvious on camera. The director had a fit when he saw it and demanded a reshoot of the whole episode. Your colleagues were pretty upset with you. The most humiliating thing was when you sat on your television partner's lap and leaked a bit of urine when you laughed. It caught you completely off guard. And you tried to ad-lib by staying on his lap rather than getting off as indicated in the script. You're absolutely miserable. But you love your job and you never expected your lie about your age to catch up to you like this. You're a single mom trying to send your son to college. And if you breathe a word of this menopausal mess to anyone, you'll be replaced with a young, nubile nymph in a heartbeat. Why couldn't you play a character who ages like everyone else? Okay, how about scenario number 3? You've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 24 years, and you've loved every minute of it. Before that, you were a teacher. But when your own children came along, you wanted to stay at home with them. You waited until you were in your 30s to have your first child, so you're just experiencing the empty nest syndrome now at age 58. But you are an empty nester with zest. You're finished with your perimenopausal transition and you're fully postmenopausal. And you take hormone replacement therapy, which makes your life really smooth. You're in a stable relationship with your husband of 27 years, and you're very happy. But you know you still have so much to offer, and you want to go back to teaching. So you've gone to the school where you taught 24 years ago to tell them you'd like to teach again. But your proposal was rejected outright. They didn't even bother to look at your work history. You're shocked by this. It's the same school your own children attended. And the faculty and principal know you quite well. You participated in all the school events throughout the years as a parent. They tell you it has nothing to do with your work history or your reputation. It only has to do with your age. You're too old. They don't want you. They explain that school boards across the nation have a policy of hiring young teachers who can offer longevity. There's no interest in new teachers over the age of 50. So you leave the principal's office completely demoralized. You know you have so much to offer the school children as well as the school. And you have many fewer encumbrances than younger teachers. You think, how absolutely ridiculous to reject older teachers. I have experience, I have wisdom, I have time, I'd be such an asset to the school system. So you decide to check out some alternatives. But you get that same shut door reception with every single school. You try to get a position as a secretary. Same result. So you wonder, what am I supposed to do with myself? Sit around until I rot? So, what I have painted for you is 3 scenarios of the state of menopause in the workplace. And I'm not exaggerating. The fact is that the workplace is inhospitable to menopause. Now, when you think about it, it's really atrocious. I mean, here we have a situation in which female baby boomers are more numerous than any other age group. They constitute a generation that is the hardest working generation the world has ever seen. And although the retirement age is still only 65 to 67, they're living decades beyond that. They're workaholics and they're creative people who want to work, but no one will hire them. And if they're already in the workforce, they worry about being replaced by the younger generation. Or maybe they're not workaholics, but just steady, pleasant employees who want to do a good job. But 10% of those quit working because of severe symptoms of menopause. The symptoms of menopause can have a huge impact on attendance and performance in the workplace. Some women are perceived by their bosses and colleagues as suffering from a mental illness rather than from menopause. And unfortunately, they've raised a bunch of kids who don't know how to live on their own and don't know how to take care of themselves, so they have to keep playing the role of parenting in many cases. And ironically, it's that younger, less capable, and less productive generation that employers prefer to hire simply because of their young age. Employers, like everyone else, are clueless about menopause. They don't recognize it when an employee is experiencing it. They may not even have ever uttered the word menopause themselves. And you know, there are no allowances made for the menopausal woman who can't sleep night after night, or the one who goes through a bout of depression. Offices are not specially equipped with individual temperature controls or even fans for menopausal comfort. And employers don't want to hear the excuse that menopause made me do it. A menopausal employee knows that divulging her menopause is as good as getting a pink slip. That puts the menopausal employee in the position of hiding it or suffering in silence. Think about it. We have maternity leave. We have family leave to care for a sick child or an elderly parent. We even have temporary disability. But we have nothing to accommodate the devastating effects of menopause when it affects an employee's ability to carry out her duties at the workplace. Think, we have child care centers at work. We have gyms at work. We have disabled access and resources in the workplace. But we have nothing, absolutely nothing for menopausal women at work. We even have special parking places for pregnant women and special rooms for nursing women and special parking for handicapped women. But we have absolutely nothing special for menopausal women. You know, I bet there would be all sorts of accommodations if men went through menopause. Why doesn't the workforce recognize the added value that a menopausal woman brings to the workplace? I mean, she has no PMS. She doesn't have the drama of dating guys. She isn't going to get pregnant and take maternity leave. She has no child care problems. She shows up to work on time. She's reliable. She's sophisticated. She's professional. She's a good leader. She's motherly, and she's not drawn into office politics. She's also confident and diplomatic. And she possesses better judgment than her younger counterparts. And by all measures, she's really the dream employee. Why can't the workforce and employers recognize this? Work is good for a menopausal woman. It raises her income, her self-esteem, her state of health, her state of calm. You know what? If you decide to apply for a job, I think you should list all the things I've enumerated that make you the best employee for the position. Here's our boss for the day. So, let's say you're sitting across the desk from your potential boss man, okay? I think you should look your boss man in the eye and say, Mr. Potential Boss, I can assure you that I am, without doubt, the very best person for this position. And I'll tell you why. I'm older and more mature than any other candidate. In fact, I'm old enough to parent any other candidate. I can take care of you, your office, the workload, and your dog if you want me to. Heck, I can keep the office spick and span, take care of your dry cleaning, and still complete all my work before the deadline. Not only that, I can take care of everyone in the office, carpool you all to work, and intercept any arguments that crop up. No one's too old for a timeout without pay. I've been doing all this at my own home for years, and I'm pretty darn good at it. I'm reliable, and I'll be at work on time every single day. I won't call in sick just because I want to use my sick days or because I'm hungover. And I won't be rushing out at the end of the day to go on a date. I'll complete every task long before it's due and ask for more work. Office dynamics won't ruffle my feathers in the least. And I won't engage in any petty office politics. I have no children to care for, my dog died long ago, and my husband sleeps in his recliner snoring most of the time and won't even know I'm gone. Besides, he tunes me out when I'm home anyway. And I won't come in after a late night of partying. I'm in bed by 8 p.m. I have absolutely nothing to compete with this job. I can pour all my energy and passion into it. It won't even have to compete with my sex life. I have no sex life. Impotence, you know. I won't complain about cramps or PMS. I won't be getting pregnant. Nor will I be in need of child care services and a breastfeeding room or a raise. And I won't want to change jobs after a couple of years. I won't be creating any drama for you. Also, I won't dress provocatively. My attire will be conservative. I don't have any off-putting tattoos or piercings, and I'm polite. I look people in the eye, smile, and serve them happily. I won't act like a robot with no emotion. And you don't need to tell me how special I am all the time. I already know I'm special because I've worked hard to deserve that designation. I didn't get it merely because I exist. Oh, and I won't be texting or checking Facebook all day. I'm not even on Facebook. Oh, and I can spell without spell check. I know the difference between TWO, TOO, and TO, too. That's TOO. I can even do arithmetic. In my head! Addition, subtraction, even multiplication and division. There's really nothing I can't do, as long as I know where the bathroom is. So if you want stability and predictability, hire me. You'll be glad you did. Would you like me to start right now? I'd hire you, that's for sure. So, until it's time for you to show up for work next week, I'll bid you goodbye. You've done a very fine job. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And go to my website. And I'll see you in a week. Bye.